So news coming out right now, and I had a feeling this was going to happen. Charlo will be returning at 168 division. He's looking to get a fight in before the end of the year is over with. Then possibly Canelo, or he's still in the Canelo picture. Caleb Plant, or even if those two fights fall through, maybe even someone like Andre at 68. So that he still has options and some very good fights. But right now, with him returning to 168, it definitely makes a lot of sense. Just because at 160, he's been there so long, and he had a couple of fights that he could have looked at and entertained, but more people was asking for him to fight guys at 168, and he's never really backed down for fighting certain guys in certain weight classes. Really, from what I've seen, and also Jermell Charlo as well. So I thought that was an easy guess to make as far as him going to 168. But 160, I could see smaller Charlo moving to 160. He said recently that he was going to go to 160. He said 154, 160. Usually when guys say or 160, that means that's a serious option. If he's not getting a big fight at 54 for a belt, possibly, he probably going to move on and not even entertain 54. But at 168, I can see Charlo have some huge fights at 168, even without Canelo. Caleb Plant with his performance last that he just had recently, and the back and forth those guys has had, it'll make for a good fight. The style matchup, everything. It's a fight fans still want to see. So PBC has a lot of fights that they can still line up. That's pretty big fights. They just have to find the right cards they want to put them on. But those guys still have big fights they want to line up. But the crazy thing is, for Charlo, he's still in the picture as far as the Canelo fight, and that kind of, people tend to forget that, even though recent things that went on, but most people realize with all the things he got going on outside of boxing, don't really want to try to force him into a fight right now where it's not going to be 100% himself. We don't want to see somebody just go in there and get beat just for name's sake or just for credibility. You want to fight somebody at their best if you're a real competitor. So that's why that fight hasn't happened yet. It was supposed to happen, I want to say in May, but I didn't think that was a real option either, just because. But I think after a lot of things that happened last year, they took a serious look at Munguia anyways, just because of the Charlo thing. So that's probably more so on his end, probably his fault the fight didn't happen, than just Canelo and his team. I don't think he was going to be ready for that fight 100%. He could have made the jump, tried to make it happen, but from what I seen in the last fight, he wouldn't have been enough to beat Canelo. So maybe in the near future he'll have a lot more motivation outside the ring to actually go in there and compete with Canelo right now. But it's still a tough ask, so it's not an easy fight. Canelo's still the real deal. Then with Caleb Plant now starting to be a little more active again, he's making some things happen. Doesn't look he looked a little rusty, but I think the schedule ahead is going to change all that. But Charlo, yeah, he hasn't been fighting that much over the last couple of years. He looked decent in the Benavidez fight, but needs to kind of pick it up on his tail end of his career. You don't want to really be fighting once a year and trying to fight to get in shape, and then the training is actually harder than the fight. Find yourself in that position. But I can see, I know Jermell Charlo is looking at 160. But Jermall Charlo going to 168, making a lot of sense. Definitely make a lot of sense. I don't know how. It has to be a fight where it's like a unification or something like that. Fight somebody with two belts or one belt that Charlo will hop in and try to make a fight happen. But if he still had a belt right now, could have made the process easier. That's why with him not having a belt right now, it's kind of like I don't know if he's gonna try to make all those moves at 154 right now and try to collect belts. He'll probably just try to go to 160 and be two division champ. And still got Carlos Adames up there. He can make that fight happen. Got Lara. So it's a lot of options. I can definitely look at those a lot more for Jermell Charlo. But that's all I got.